Here's just a picture of some lungs from a normal sheep at mark and a sheep that has OPP. If they have OPP, oftentimes it'll end up in the lungs being damaged like this. This infected lung here loses the pliability of it, the texture changes. It can be about, lungs of that infected sheep can weigh 3 times more than healthy lungs. It makes it obviously difficult for that sheep to breathe.
Well, one of the things it did for us by lambing last year in January and February and March is we got ewe lambs early. And our ewes were lambed earlier, so we weaned them earlier. So in May we had these Dorper Roanoke Katahdin ewes who, many of them had already been weaned off. And so I asked my friend Dan Morico, should I expose these things? He said, yeah, put the rams in. So we did in May. First time I've ever tried to do spring breeding. What was the numbers? 300 some, Mike? I can't remember. 320 or so ewes we exposed. 270 were pregnant. The percentage that came out was in the order of 160 to 175%. I don't know exactly.
Market for the traditional fat lamb, around 130 pounds, and we also have a market for the small lambs, 40 to 60 pounds. If you ask me what the biggest demand is, it's usually year-round is for a lamb that's 40 to 60 pounds, a good meat type lamb that's right off the ewe and had some grain. There seems to be more buyers for that kind of a lamb.
The Iowa Sheep Industry Association promotes and supports the sheep industry in Iowa, and we have 2 major events that we have. We have the Sheep and Wool Festival, and that's in Colfax, Iowa, June 13th and 14th. We have exhibitions, and we have educational presentations all the way across the board, from lambing to wool and all that other stuff. And there's also
level constant, whereas Decox is a side and it kills off the coccidia. It's a more effective product, but it does not improve feed efficiency like Bovitec does. Bovitec's an ionophore, so it changes the volatile fatty acid composition in the rumen, which means we produce less acetate, more propionic, right? Am I doing good? Pretty good for an old sheep guy that's been out of class for a few years.
We started breeding out some of the guardian characteristics. So some of these other breeds, like the Spanish Mastiff, was brought back in again later, as was the Polish Tatra, is probably one of the last breeds to be brought in just in the 1980s. So there are less of those in the country now, and there are less gene pools in the country. Pedro. This is our daughter Ruth at age 9. She's now 44. She's holding one of the first guard dog puppies we got from the Livestock Project out in Amherst, Massachusetts. This is the first puppy we ever raised. As you can tell, I had a lot of trust in this dog, probably more than I should have. There's one thing I want to say to you is that we made a lot of mistakes, and what I'm really going to share with you today, as much as possible, is the mistakes that we've made. So if you're looking at guardians or you're raising guardians now, at least I can tell you what we did wrong and what we know was wrong.